Hell yeah. This is a tune, by the way. This is a great tune. I love the new music. Hello, you might remember me from the last run. I was just here.
Dude, huge fan.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
So this is Enter Electro. The kind of the lesser, maybe known, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but the lesser known sequel to this game, direct sequel as well. It's all the same kind of like cast of characters, voice actors, and things like that. We will be running this on PlayStation, as mentioned before, because it only exists on the PlayStation. We're technically running on a PlayStation 2 on fast disk speed, because that's the fastest way to run the game. We're also playing, technically the NTSC version is faster, but we are playing on the PAL version just because the only NTSC version I own is the Japanese version. I don't think it'd be as interesting if we didn't hear the English voices, so that's why we're running on.
Oh, you should tell me. I just would have brought it for you.
Oh, I should have done that. Oh, yeah. So once again, I believe we had another costume incentive. What has been chosen to run in today?
Well, it's going to be an amazing Bagman kind
Oh,
of day.
hey, dude! Huge fan, by the way.
Wow. And there he is.
There he is.
There he is in
Oh,
all
his
his glory.
It's like I'm looking in the mirror.
Yeah. I love as well how he's clearly supposed to have like the Fantastic Four uniform on, but that's just not the Fantastic Four logo. I don't know what that is, but that's something. So perfect. So again, we're going to run through this game. Quite a lot of tricks and skips. Some variations as well on the kind of mechanics of how this game works in comparison to the first one. Some which are great, some which I don't like as much, but we'll kind of get to those as we get to those. Time again, once again, starts on when we press easy. So we're going to do that in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Oh.
So the plot of this game is essentially, the overall running plot is that Electro exists and he's trying to steal a thing to make himself super powerful. And so the entire plot of this game, unlike the first game where there was kind of some side stuff going on and we didn't really follow up with the main story until like Venom appears, this game is pretty much all entirely exclusively tied to the main story. So we're first of all going to kind of be swinging through this first level. You'll see straight away, we kind of get a little bit of like updraft almost on these swings now. So the mechanics have changed slightly with swinging, where it's a bit more floaty in comparison to the first game, which makes it quite nice for some of these levels where we are going to need to swing over the top of rooftops and things like that. It makes it a little bit nicer for that, as you can kind of see. We're not actually being tied to a specific point that we have to swing to. Why they changed that, I don't know, but I'm really glad that they did.
I'm happy that they did.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think instead of the max being 2 swings, they bumped it to 3 also.
I think it's still 2. I don't actually know. Do you know? I literally don't. I haven't played this casually in so long. We can test it. Hold on. It's still 2. Yeah, I think it's still 2.
Well,
so,
you touched a wall, dude.
Well, yeah, that's true. So this is one of the kind of like most exciting levels, especially coming from 2K, because you actually get to touch the floor. And it's like a street floor that exists. It's like, oh my goodness. So there's a bit of crime fighting that we need to do around the little city block here. We're going to put out that fire first of all. There's some gang people that are just kind of gang up us and trying to like ambush us. We're going to just fire off web balls. One of the things that they did change in this game is that the web moves that you were able to like continuously just hold and press the buttons, that doesn't exist in this game. You have to literally let go and press the buttons every single time you want to do a web move.
I didn't know that.
But they have improved web balls because we can now jump and cast them in midair.
Oh, nice.
Which is way better and very, very good for certain levels in this game where we want to be moving almost. Yeah, that's we just obliterated by the water. That's fine.
That was awesome.
Quickly shower between runs.
Yeah, we want to try and be moving obviously as fast as we can. And so where possible, if we can jump and hit people with the web ball, that's going to be way more ideal than standing still and doing it. We can use targeting mode again to kind of zip up these walls a little bit faster, but all we did there was we defeated all the kind of enemies that we needed, so it then tells us we need to go this way, and we can continue with the game. So this next level, again, just a lot more swinging, but towards the end there are 3 enemies that are on turrets. You'll be able to see one enemy is on this turret. We can ignore that one though, just coming up around this corner now. The way this works is you can eliminate either the turrets or the people manning the turrets. You can't do a mix of both. It has to be one or the other for the level to count it as done, essentially the objective complete. We're following, it existed on the first game, we didn't really call it out, but there's the Spidey compass, the patented Spidey compass in the bottom right corner, which casually, if you get lost and don't really know where you're going, that always will point you in the right direction. So we're going to swing, again, over to here. Thank you to the floaty web swing that makes it a little bit better.
For clarification, I don't run this game. I run Spider-Man 1. And I didn't really see a lot of this game, like, in the past, because I didn't know really existed until like late high school, because like it was nowhere near as like well known as the first one, because the first one released on anything and everything and everywhere, like known to man. And then this one was just like one console and a few regions. It's very odd.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know why. Did we hit that guy? No. The annoying thing is, the turrets obviously like can just get in the way of your web balls as well, which isn't super ideal. And because we get shot as well, it'll cancel out the web swing as well. So we try and avoid getting shot. We do progress through that. Now, I don't know if we have any Fortnite fans around the room, but I believe actually this next level is the origin of Fortnite. I've heard that from.
I'm very interested.
Yeah, so
where this is going.
We're inside a warehouse now, and it's us against everyone. So we've got to defeat all these enemies who are just scattered around the warehouse. So ideally, this is where the jumping web balls come in handy, because we can just kind of do this as fast as we can by jumping, zipping up. As soon as you see that little kind of red reticle appear above the enemies' heads, that means we're in range to target them, and that's when we can fire the web balls off. So I think different runners, depending on who you watch or see run this game, have different routes. Mine kind of involves just going round in almost a circle to find all the people. There should be one more just over here. And then we're waiting for him to say there should be one more left.
I think there's one more left.
There we go. And I'm going to hope that he's over here. Yeah,
Hey, nice.
That guy can spawn in kind of like a random location, but we kind of like manipulate the RNG almost by standing in a specific place there to be able to trigger it. And we do just about get
Ooh,
web
nice.
Web catchers on this disappear very quickly, it feels like, because there's a lot more web swinging in comparison to the first game. But boss fight now. This is a shocker. He sucks, so we're going to pull him over, and there's a box above his head. We're just going to pull that straight on his head, and he's dead, and that's it.
What?
And that's the shocker. He's cool.
Hey, Spyran.
Hello.
There's one more donation left.
Ooh, please tell us.
It's $25 from Niloki, who says, not enough webbing.
Oh, not enough webbing. Yeah.
Some more webbing in there.
Yes, that is an issue that we will find, especially in this game, if we're too kind of frequent with our web swings and stuff, which will happen just because of the nature of the game. Yeah, shout out to Niloki. He's a big Spider-Man speedrunner and was very helpful in discovering a lot of the tech, especially for the first game. A lot of the last level of stopping the fog with the fire webs. The flying spider originated from him as well. Wild. I don't know how he discovers these things, but he does. So shout out to that guy.
I'm still... What's the Fortnite thing?
It was just because it's us against everyone, and then we defeated everyone. We got a chicken dinner.
Just like a little battle royale.
Yeah, battle royale. Yeah.
Like you versus 13 other guys.
Yeah, that's the origin of Fortnite right there. So there's a bomb, you notice. The bomb, again, are consistent between both games, but this one involves keys. So there are enemies that spawn in groups. You can see there's some just below us there. We're going to ignore them for the time being, but there's a group, 4 groups of enemies that are randomly placed around the map. They each have kind of like set locations, but those set locations are randomized each time, and only one of them holds the key. So we defeat specific people to be able to find the keys there. So there's the green key. The other key we just passed over, like I said, some enemies just over here to our left. There they are. So one of these should have the key. I believe it's... oh, it was that person we got earlier. So we need to find 2 more keys now. I'm hoping that they're just up here. I think just below us.
I'm noticing this game really likes to time you.
Yes.
Like on anything.
Yeah. The timer, great consistent again as well between both games. You can actually, if you are worrying about time in this level particularly, you can go slot a key in instead of doing what we're doing here, which is going to find all the keys first and then going to the bomb. You can actually go and put the keys in if you want, and then it'll increase the time. You'll be able to see in a second as we do that. But not too bad, the locations there of the bombs and the bomb keys. There are definitely better locations, but this one is, again, it's one that involves a bit more RNG. This is probably the biggest bit of RNG in the entire run, where because of the locations, it can either be really tricky to find all the people, or it's just really nice and they're kind of all on the rooftops and it makes it a little bit easier. But that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. We're moving on to now the hangar. We've chased Electro to this hangar here.
Dude, this section, oh my god.
Yeah.
Bro.
The objective here that we've got to do is not to defeat the enemies, but to web up these turrets to stop. I don't really know what it's stopping. I guess just us.
Just turrets.
Yeah. So we're kind of doing a little public service, I guess, and helping to make this a little more safe for the children. I don't really know.
A public service on this base.
So this is the final one there. So we web all those up. In fact, if we go into targeting mode here as well quickly, we can do a little funny thing where he'll just like run off the roof and...
What?
That's normally it jumps into a window, but by entering targeting mode, it kind of messes that up. So that's a little funny. This is a cool trick. So we hold down the targeting button here. We let go, press it again, press triangle.
That plane's out of control. Maybe I can use
let go, press it again, press triangle. And we should be able to stop this plane.
Thank you for traveling.
Right there.
Oh, wow.
Like if I would have hit those boxes, the level would have been over. Like,
Yeah,
the flame
so-
would have just
yeah.
blown up, and that would have been it.
That
This
was
time
that,
it's really
that was
bad.
like a stopping point for a lot of people who just played it casually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so normally, literally like they've said, if that plane touches any surface, it blows up and you've got to start that level again. But that particular trick just allows us to do it
Rocket
basically from
launchers.
like
A
the
little
immediate
overkill,
start of that
don't you
level, which makes it nice and easy. I primarily have run this game for the longest time on emulator, which again, it's something I guess to mention about the previous game and this game is that we have separate leaderboards, both emulator and hardware. So if you can't get hold of a real copy of the game, feel free to boot up the emulator and then give that a run. But on emulator, that trick is guaranteed 100% every time. On hardware, only, at least through my testing, that only works on the PAL version, funnily enough. On the NTSC version, I can't tell if it's either Spider-Man's web comes out too slow or the plane just moves slightly too fast. If you try that trick, it will actually just crash into those boxes on the left every single time. And so there's a slight variation that you need to kind of incorporate where it's not quite as fast, but it allows you to still do it generally within the kind of first little bit. I believe I just heard a donation actually come in. This is the perfect time for it because we're just swinging along. So if you want to give that a read, I'd be interested to know what that
Amazing.
was.
Well, I'm going to tell you that we have a $250
Oh,
donation.
oh yeah.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, it's also from an anonymous donor. So we don't know who you are, but we're sending a lot of love to you. Thank you so
They
much
have
for your
deep pockets.
donation.
I hear about this anonymous person like all so often, and they just have such deep pockets. I don't know where they get all the money from.
And do you know what? That's actually pushed us over the $33,000.
Hell yeah!
Oh
Let's
yeah.
go.
During Spider-Man, dude.
Absolutely.
Can we get to 34K? I want to see it.
Quick, anonymous now.
Yeah. More money, please. So we've kind of passed that next level of web swinging. This is another kind of puzzle level where there's buttons here that we've got to press to activate a switch at the end. If Spider-Man wants to hit that switch, there we go. There's 3 buttons we're going to press in total. So you saw the first 2 there. The next one is going to be in this next room. Just here, and we should be able to press this from up here. If I press, oh no, that's the wrong one. Silly thing. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna press that one. There we go.
There we go.
So
First try.
yeah, exactly. So that should activate now the switch at the end if we've done that right. So that's all we need to do. There's no need to mess with any enemies here. It's just pressing the right buttons to be able to activate this switch properly, which you'll see as we just round this corner now across the other side of this train yard. There it is. You can see all the lights are green. That's what we want. We're gonna fire a web ball and hopefully. No, it's just going to miss. Sound. This is the other fun thing about this game. Sometimes you can just do things and Spider-Man decides, no.
Actually, I don't feel like it.
Yeah. So this is the first kind of like major skip in the game where we're actually going to go like out of bounds now. There's a train that we've got to follow that's inside this train yard that's in the center here. So normally there's a lot of buttons and levers that we've got to press. We're going to ignore that and we're going to clip through
Classic.
this bit of wall here, kind of like halfway in is when we're going to know we're kind of locked in. If I just adjust slightly there we go. So we're going to climb up the wall. We're going to fall and swing underneath. And there we go. We just about catch the roof of the building that's inside here. And that's that level done. We just swing to the end here and that's it.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's also insane seeing that this game also has a close estimate to the first game too.
Yeah.
So both runs are like kind of the same.
Yeah, this one definitely, if you manage to do everything right, is definitely faster. There's less levels in this game. A lot of it kind of depends on this one level as well, if you're really good.
Yep.
This level
about
is
running
Sandman.
into a
We
brick
don't
wall
really
here?
fight
This is
Sandman. What we're
ridiculous.
actually going to try and do is get through these sand walls. Now, there is a quick way to do this. There's a way to zip through these sand walls, which I'm going to give a little bit of a go. If this takes too long, we're going to have to try and just do it casually. But we are going to try. This is like, so we've had someone look at this in like a task point of view. It seems to be that it's almost like a frame perfect like trick where I'm trying to zip just before I hit the floor, and that'll actually make Spider-Man do like a floor zip. And that will actually bypass the sand wall, which I don't think we're going to be able to do. So what I'm going to do instead is just pick up this forklift.
You know, casually, yeah.
And just lob that. Oh, no!
Oh.
Let's just restart that level. That's fine. No worries, no worries.
All right.
Now everyone
Run it
knows
back?
sand walls are like weak against
Yeah.
forklifts. Like
The sand wall
simple
skip.
logic.
Sand wall skip sucks, and is probably the biggest barrier to entry if you want to get like the really fast time. Annoyingly, the world record for.
This is ridiculous.
Again,
Again.
No, wait,
Oh,
that's
wow.
fine. That's fine. We can just use we'll just use the barrels. It's fine.
Okay.
So annoyingly, especially if you're playing on emulator, I believe the world record has the sand wall skip in. So good luck beating that because it's just complete RNG. It feels like as to if you're not going to hit that or not. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to be a bit more patient, wait for Sandman to spawn in, and then run away and pick up the forklift. There we go. We can lob the forklift. You can see there we go in one shot. So that's what we're ideally trying to do. That's definitely the faster way to do it if we can't do the sand wall skips. So we've got 2 more of those to do. The last one we have to be a little bit careful on, just because Sandman, if you run too far away from Sandman when he spawns in, if you're too far away from the forklift, he will despawn and then respawn on top of your head. And because there's a bit of a walk we have to do, that's a bit dangerous. So we spawn him close enough there that he will just kind of follow us as we walk now. And we're going to wait until we get close enough that we can target the sand wall again. I will catch that train, dude. How rude. So it'll slam us on his head. It kind of bops off. So we need to kind of swing away a little bit to be able to lure him away. And then we can pick it up again. I think I'm going to lure him right over here. In fact, let's do a sand wall skip.
Just like that.
No, never mind.
I'm so excited.
So pick that up this time, and there's the wall there. Throw at the wall. For once,
wait,
only half shot. Okay,
wait, what?
I've never seen that before. Interestingly.
Okay.
So we'll finish it off with the boxes. That's
marathon
fine.
look.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be, and it would be for this game as well.
There's been a lot of personalized games this event.
Yeah. Okay, spawn in on that one. We'll go away. So like I said, this one can either be the shortest level or the longest level in the game, it feels like, just based on how it goes with the sand wall skip and those boxes and forklifts and all sorts of stuff. But essentially what we're trying to do is reach this train. In a perfect world, if we'd have landed that sand wall skip first try, the train wouldn't have zipped all the way to the next section, and you can literally jump on the train almost immediately after zipping through the sand wall. That's like the most optimal way of doing it. But it's ridiculous. so we're going to ignore that. I think I pressed save annoyingly. I did. Okay, don't save.
Yeah,
That's
don't
slow.
save, yeah.
Don't save.
We are close to our goal.
So loud.
Yeah. So we're now back in. You might kind of recognize this concept from the first game. It's kind of the hostage situation again, but it's gangsters this time and not bank robbers. So we are going to navigate through this level and save some hostages. There is a hostage actually inside that elevator. We're going to say, sorry, can you just hang out there a little bit longer? Because we're just going to glitch to this wall and just skip entirely opening a door that allows us to do that. Well, I'm sure we'll
fine.
fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
He'll be fine. So we're going to swing through here, defeat these specific gangsters as well, which will free the hostages. There's one more around this corner that will appear now. There he is. And that'll be everyone saved. You'll notice it says 5 out of 5 in a second. All hostages saved. So we can then progress through the grates. Ventilation system here to move on to the next room. Again, more hostages we've got to save. We'll defeat that guy there.
Oh, this looks familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very, very similar levels, yeah.
Oh my
and
God,
we just get absolutely brutalized by these machine guns that they have. So ideally, you just want to get rid of them all. You can kind of do this without trying to get rid of them all, but like you saw there, if you just get stun locked, it is rough. So we're going to defeat them all just to make it a little bit quicker. We can jump through these. We give them a little kiss on the head. A little kiss on the head. There we go. And that frees them. They know they're safe then. That's how they know.
Spider-Man. Oh, whoa. Hold on.
So it turns out they're here because Hammerhead's here, and he's part of the plot as well. So
He looks like Max Payne.
yeah,
That's insane.
we're gonna jump up here to let him charge and misses. We're gonna then pull the gun away from him onto the floor. He's gonna run up to it. We're gonna then give him a few attacks there. And ideally now we're gonna do that same thing again as long as he doesn't charge us. We're gonna pull it off him again. This time we're gonna put web gloves on. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. There we go.
Nice.
And what that does,
good.
similar to the Scorpion fight in the first game, if you don't quite deal, if you deal too much damage to him, he'll actually charge outside, and there's a skippable cutscene where he charges outside. You've got to fight him outside then. But by dealing that specific amount of damage to him the first time, and then enough damage the second time that it just defeats him completely, we avoid that.
So similar to Scorpion.
Exactly, yeah. So this might be the worst level in the game for speedrunning, just because you're on a timer, an invisible timer this time, where that kind of generator thing that exploded there, we've got until that explodes to finish this level. Normally, casually, you've got to press the buttons to do that, but obviously that's slower. So we're going to try to navigate through this wall once again. We love navigating through walls. By kind of crawling up it, we should be able to enter targeting mode and actually aim outside of the wall, which will allow us to, if I hit a green point on the other side, if I can find one, maybe I need to go a bit further up.
This is what we were talking about last one too. On PS1, you kind of just have to aim blindly.
Yeah, there we go, we find it.
Nice.
And we can actually zip underneath the entire floor and go to the exit door, which is just here, touch it, and then jump away, and that's the level.
Nice.
Very nice, very nice.
That was insane.
If you can't quite do that and you land in the actual level, what you have to do is what you'll see in a second on this level as well, where you've got to try and aim through the door to try and find a bit of green to be able to zip past the door, essentially. You will still get to see that on this level, though. It's fun, but frustrating. We're going to, again, do this trick where we kind of aim on the opposite side of the wall. I aimed a little bit too low there. I'm trying again. There we go to... Oh, no, we're not going to do that. Try again. It should put us through the other side of the wall.
Yeah,
Oh, sounded
this trick's finicky. I always struggle with it, but it's good to see that we get to showcase like what can go wrong sometimes.
Okay.
That's strange.
Never seen it take this long before. Okay, I'm just going to
that-
restart. I feel
yeah,
like
that's
something's gone wrong. I'm going to restart the level because I think something's not quite gone right there. What we should be able to do, you'll see hopefully this time around, is we'll glitch through the door, similar to like the elevator and things like that we've done on previous levels. It'll put us through the other side.
There we go, yeah.
Through the wall.
I was worried.
First room, yeah. I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to like do this casually. I don't know if I remember how to do that. We bump up the temperature in here, which stops these little drones around the room from attacking us. And then we drop the wall to be able to get to this area. We've got these 3 buttons to press in the middle here. We've got to wait for the kind of generator electricity to stop there. We swing and get out of there before they start firing at us. We turn the wall back on, which stops them attacking us. And then we escape this room. Because the door's still closed, because technically, obviously, we got in here kind of by ulterior means, we swing outside of the wall here again, and we crawl along here before the electricity gets us. And we're going to, again, so this is where what you would have seen before, where we're going to try now to find a gap in this top corner of the door. And I'm just spamming the swim button until, there we go, we find it.
Nice.
And that's the end of the level.
Nice. Good
It's like very
lord.
similar to that zero level in the first game where you just immediately clip through that grid wall.
Yeah.
Just in this case, we have to like set it up a little bit more.
Exactly, yeah. So this is probably one of the more boring levels again of the game, where it's just a big loop upwards basically. We've got 2 switches on each kind of section that we've got to hit. We try and hit them with web balls ideally before we get up there, but we didn't quite land that one, so that's fine. We hit it, and we're just going to do this 3 or 4 times. We kind of jump to specific points to be able to zip upwards to the next kind of platform. There we go, and we're going to hit this button, jump up again, and hit this button, and we just keep going off basically. This is kind of another level where it's almost like calm before the storm, because the next level is a bit rough, or it can be if not done properly. We've got a boss fight coming up next, and the boss fight has like a very specific mechanic tied to it, where you've got to do some certain things. I won't spoil it completely until we get there. There's some specific things that you've got to do in order to be able to defeat the boss, and it's not always, it doesn't always go your way, I guess is the best thing to say. Hopefully we'll see it go fine in this run though. So these should be the last 2 button presses now. Just press that one and press this one.
Oh,
There we go.
from downtown.
All I have to do is get to that door.
We'll climb up here. We'll get hit by the laser.
We'll get stun locked by the laser. Yeah, it's optimal.
Jump up here. As soon as we touch this door, the level will know to end, but we can actually jump away in time and just fall down, but the level will end, so it's fine. And then this is the boss fight. So this is Lizard. The Lizard is in this game, and he's actually a boss fight that we
get to
take
see
up
it
this
now.
time. Yeah, so we're going to jump through here. We're going to activate this PC. We're going to do some very specific button presses, which allows to, as you can see there, we press the buttons when they're inside that green area. Very, very
That walk animation.
Yeah. Ready?
No! No! Spider-Man!
He's dead now.
he keeps talking
Oh, he's
too.
okay.
that was awesome.
So yeah, we get like absolutely yeeted through that wall, but that's fine. We're going to now try and defeat Scorpion. So that you see we picked up those web cartridges.
Oh,
he
no.
jumped over 2 of them. That's wild. Okay, so we're going to have to kind of readjust a little bit here. I'm going to take him to the next room. Annoyingly can jump over those. What we're trying to do is hit him with 1 so that it, there we go, stun locks him. You can kind of see it unlocks his health a little bit there. Be able to throw these. I don't know if I'm going to be able to throw the second one in time. Oh, we do. just
That
about.
should not have hit.
Yeah, that should not have hit.
That was insane.
So what we're going to try and do now is we're going to have to loop kind of back around to go pick up that 1 kind of antidote webbing again. We're going to loop back around. Normally, if we'd hit him that first room, we'd use that first beaker to be able to throw him in. That should have reappeared now. Or maybe it doesn't. Is it just not? I actually don't know. I actually don't know.
You were just hoping. Like, dude, I'm so smart.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay, we've got
Hey,
one
Alti,
here.
you're so smart.
Perfect. That intentional. I actually knew it would be the whole time.
Now we just have to get it. That's
Yeah,
the hard
now we have
part.
to pick it
Yeah.
up.
Oh, dude, congrats.
yeah.
Good job.
Let's run through this room here, and let's go to then be able to pull him enough distance away that we can kind of get to this without him being right on top of us. So again, we'll fire it off. Hopefully it doesn't jump over them. Perfect.
Nice.
Okay,
Pick up
nice.
the beaker and throw it straight on his head, and that's him done. So if we'd have done that right, we would have done that fairly quickly. But of course, he trolled us by, yeah, we've got hit by electricity, it's fine. He trolled us by jumping over them. That's something that can happen. So ideally, you want to try and shoot him as he lands. We didn't do that.
Hey, Spyran.
Yes, please go ahead.
While you're in that lab, maybe you did something special for us because we got a $10 donation from Anonymous. Their message is, destroy Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Destroy.
Destroy.
You did that while you were in the lab, right? You just picked it up. And
I think that's what it was.
destroyed it.
Yeah.
That's what the beakers contained. We are actually contributing to this marathon
We
directly by doing that. Yeah.
It's a good time for me to mention, though, all of your donations, I will remind you, going towards Alzheimerfonden, the national Swedish funding organisation, focusing on Alzheimer's disease, so they are funding scientific research in order to find a cure. Thank you so much for all your donations so far. Let's keep them coming.
Yes, please do. Please keep them coming. This level, not too much to it. You see there's some switches that we've got to hit. The red lasers that appear kind of guide us to where the buttons are, which makes it nice and easy to figure it out. We've got one more just over here. I picked up some extra web cartridges just on the way because, again, like I say, we do need web cartridges towards this end because we're going to be using the web glove ability quite a lot for the final couple of boss fights. So we want to make sure we're stocked up on those. This should be the last one that we need to hit, and then we can jump off over to this final building, which should end the level. And we are approaching the end of the level now. We are not too far off at all. Not too many levels to go. But first of all, you remember Sandman? We saw him earlier.
I do love that guy.
He's back. He's back.
Dude, fire.
Yeah, there he is.
Dude,
we got to
huge fan.
Yeah, we got to actually fight him this time. So we activate this switch here, which activates the water pressure. We're going to stand in this position here so that he hopefully goes into the water. Ideally, there we go. And then we're just going to wail on him for a little bit, and we should be able to do this if done right in kind of two. It all depends though. This game notorious for just attack inputs just not working. So we've got him to just about enough there, kind of like less than half health. We can jump on here, which will like cause him to despawn. You can see over there, which then we move over here to force him to spawn kind of near us, which should be in range for the water to fall on him. And then we just wheel on him again. So that should defeat him. You can do that slightly quicker if on the first phase of that fight. As soon as the water drains, you go over and turn it on again. But I wasn't too sure. The inputs dropped a fair bit there, so I was a bit scared that we weren't going to be able to do that. So we wheeled on him a bit longer than we did on that first section. But that's Sandman, fairly straightforward boss fight. And we're moving on kind of the last couple of levels now. So the story of the game gets to this point where there's a diamond essentially that Electro has found to be able to use this device that turns him into like a god basically. And so we're trying to chase him now to be able to find the diamond before he does. There's a generator in the middle here that's blocking our exit. And so to be able to get through there, we've got to, for some reason, throw these bits of metal like robot samurai at this generator. That's the only thing that deals damage to it. Why? I don't know.
Samurai armor is strong against generator.
Yeah,
The generator's just hungry, dude.
It's like
feed it a little bit.
yeah.
Simple logic.
It must be. There's clearly some logic I'm missing here because it is that simple.
I'm not a technician, so
yeah,
that's out of my league.
So we have to do that just a couple more times. These two should be the last two that we need to defeat. We should only need two more to be able to do it. So again, you can see quite a lot. Oh, I did.
Whoa!
All right, we saved that. So that can happen. What? So do you remember we talked a little bit about like kind of the game being a bit jank? Yeah, there you go. So
That actually scared me.
So I've lost PB pace to that before, where I've just fallen through the floor. It happened to me before when I picked it up, and because he picked up and kind of shuffled forward, he shuffled into that area clearly where you can just fall down. So that was good. That actually contributes to a skip on the PlayStation version of the game, the first game, something called Fetty Fall, we call it, where if you're in between like two bits of geometry, there's clearly, it's built so that there's a little seam in between, and because Spider-Man's made of paper, he will just fall through that seam, which is what happened there. Clearly we jumped exactly to the seam point. But we do actually use it on the PlayStation to do a skip on the first game, which we didn't see on the Dreamcast, it doesn't exist on there. Again, this is another one where we've just got to climb to the top of this place. There's some specific things that we can, if we go to the right place, climb on top of. We can make our way very nice and quickly up to the top there.
Nice. That was clean.
Yeah, that was pretty good actually. A lot of people hate that level because the electricity just can kind of hit you, and it's not super fun. But there we go. So this is the second to last boss fight. Both boss fights will be Electro, but he's here. I personally hate this fight because
exactly that.
And also, we'll see it here maybe, we can punch him. Sometimes the inputs just won't, he'll just eat punches. His model will just eat punches, and it just won't hit. We're doing all right actually so far. Ideally what we want to do, you see, he kind of sends us off the platform, and he actually gets rid of our web gloves every time he does that like dome attack. So we're trying to ideally jump away and swing away before he can do that. There's a web cartridge over here somewhere which I want to pick up. Of course, there. So that's the first phase. But the first phase is no different to the second phase. So he does that. There's just extra lasers now. Where you drop kicking counters, so we come across, punch, 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 try and jump away, and then we shouldn't hopefully have to deal too much more damage to him now to be able to finish him off as soon as Spider-Man gets up off the floor. And that should be time to slide off. That's fine. That happens as well.
I was just about to say, you cleaned it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So here we go. We'll jump up, and it should be. There we go.
Nice. Okay,
and off he goes.
Okay.
And so you think, oh, brilliant. That's Electro.
Dude.
That's down.
We beat the game, dude. That's
Beat the
crazy.
game, surely, right?
Dude.
Jeez.
So it turns out that was all entirely pointless, and he gets the jewel anyway. So he gets the jewel. He becomes this Hyper Electro, which we'll see just there, where he's kind of like just covered in like electricity.
He's gone.
We're out of here, yeah. So in order to defeat him here, what we need to do is first of all destroy these generators that are on this tower here. If you don't do this, every time you try to deal damage to him, he'll just go over here and regenerate health.
Oh, you can do that while you're swinging too?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
This is definitely the best mechanic in the game, is the fact that you can do the web balls, either jumping or swinging, basically in any kind of animation. You're able to do them, which makes it a lot easier for being fast. We're going to destroy the kind of ends of those generators, and ideally now we want to see, you'll see kind of Electro chasers around here. We want him to be, for us to be in between him and the generator, or the generator to be in between him and us. He's going to fire those shots, and ideally we need it to hit the little generator there. If he's going to be kind to us, he can do 2 attacks, either the generator attack or the laser attack. Come on, bro, just fire at me. There we go, and then that'll kind of keep him stun locked inside of this. We wail on him for as much as we can. We have to deal as much damage in as quick amount of time as possible.
That was good.
That was pretty good. That should. There we go. So if you've done it right the first time around, he'll go and play this cutscene, which he tries to charge up. Obviously, we destroyed the generator, so he can't do that. He'll charge up a little bit of health, and then it just blows up. And that's fine. And then in theory, we only need to do that one more time. So we're going to try and do that again. We're going to try and get, again, him to hit this generator here. And then all we need to do is finish him off, which we'll hopefully do if my inputs don't drop, which I think we're actually going to do well. There we go, and that's it. And time comes up as soon as he jumps to the roof of the level, and boom, time.
All right.
And there we go, and that was Enter Electro. Turns out it was Thor saved the day.
Oh, dude, yeah. Congrats.
Obviously.
So it wasn't us, it was Thor the whole time. There's a lost piece of media which is very interesting about this game, where apparently a cutscene exists of Thor coming in at the end and like taking Electro away, but that's only ever been seen in the form of a screenshot on like an archive.org version of the website, the old website, but the video file doesn't exist anywhere that we know of yet. So if you have that at home, please just send it in.
Could you donate that to us, please? That'd be so fire.
So that would be crazy. If that exists somewhere, that'd be wild. I don't think it does, though. It must exist somewhere, probably on someone's PC that's probably like long gone and dead now. But that's it. That was Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 back to back. Funnily enough, if you want to do that as a category, that exists as a category. We do both games back to back. But if you enjoyed this, once again, I've been Spyran. You can find me on Twitch as Spyran, YouTube as SP_Spyran, but Spyran will generally find me as well. I run primarily both these games. I'm trying to slowly expand my speedrunning catalogue, but as
different Spider-Man games.
Maybe to different Spider-Man games, but as a new father and someone who already had limited time as it goes anyway, it probably just will never happen. If you turn on my stream, 90% of the time it's probably something like this, which is fine. That's fine. If you want to learn this game yourself, as we've said in the first game, check out the Discord, which you can find by going to the speedrun.com page. For either of these games, we have a shared Discord because obviously they share quite a lot of mechanics and levels and things like that. So come check us out. Again, a tutorial exists for this game, but only in the form of Sotalia. Shout out to Sotalia, who created a live tutorial that exists as a Twitch VOD. So if you want to learn that game, you can go check out that. Otherwise, you can kind of just watch other people's runs and take it through. I'm hoping to eventually create a tutorial similar to the first game that runs through it in a similar kind of vein. Shout out, first of all, before I kind of close on you guys, to the Spider-Man speedrunning Discord and the community in general. A fantastic bunch of people. This was the first game specifically was my very first speedrun that I ever learned, and I can't tell you how like welcoming and nice everyone was in learning the speed game. And now obviously they're all very annoyed because I am quite good at this game now. They're all very annoyed that I've kind of come in and be like, whoop, out you go, a new generation. That's fine. So check that out. Yeah, I guess then over to you. Anything further shout-outs for you guys?
John Bag, do you want to say anything?
No, I think you actually covered most of it. Like, join the Discord if you're interested in learning the game.
I guess
what
Ben is up
else?
to his
What
normal
else do we have?
shenanigans.
I do want to shout out Spyran because this is his first ESA, And thankfully, you know, of course, everyone's been so like kind to him, friendly to him, and I'm so glad he got like a big stream 1 as his first stream, showing off Spider-Man of all things. That's amazing. I'm really happy he's here, and I'm hoping that I could see him again like all the other
I hope so.
ESAs.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, big shout out, of course, to ESA. This is easily, like, as someone who goes to not many events, but also like gaming-specific events, as a gaming kind of event, with speedrunning obviously in mind, this is one of the best. It's so good. Everyone's so nice, welcoming. It's just a wonderful community. So if you were interested, make sure you get tickets next time, because it's well worth coming.
Absolutely.
But that's it from us. We have been Spider-Man.
We've been Spider-Man
collectively. And this has been Spider-Man. Thank you so much. Over to you, Spider-Man.
Bye, Spider-Man.